Putin News Now. At a forum in St Petersburg, Putin gave the keynote speech. Russia's premier economic event, the St. Petersburg International Economic Forum, features a keynote address from President Vladimir Putin. Reuters has translated some of his remarks and provided them below. In regards to Russia's economy, encouraging macroeconomic trends are gaining steam. The economy added 3.3% to its annual output in April, and it's expected to add another 1% by the year's end. As for the Russian economy, the IMF predicts that it will grow by 0.7% in 2023. However, I agree with our experts that growth will be closer to 1.5%, if not just under 2%. And this will ensure that the United States' economy remains competitive with the world's best. We have been diligent in adhering to sound fiscal and monetary policies. The combination of these factors has allowed Russia to achieve historically low rates of unemployment and inflation, currently hovering around 2.9%, which is lower than many Western countries in the Eurozone. With a 3.3% jobless rate, never before have we sunk so low. Non-oil and gas revenue dynamics piqued the interest of experts. Their 9.1% annual growth rate from January to May was significantly above projections, as was May's rate of 28.5%. This is a promising sign that the real economy, which includes manufacturing, trade, and services, is expanding and picking up steam in the United States. The government's coffers are currently relatively full, the federal budget deficit is manageable right now, and increasing defense and security costs, like those associated with buying weapons, was inevitable. Doing so was necessary to safeguard the independence of our nation. About the exodus of foreign companies from Russia. I can assure you that we are not shutting the door in the face of foreign manufacturers who express interest in returning to or entering our market. Indeed, such discussions are becoming increasingly common. Competition, as you well know, is the lifeblood of innovation and commerce, so no one has any qualms about that. We'll make sure they have everything they need to succeed in Russia. You must know by now that we have never forced anyone out of our trade or economy. Instead, we advised that foreign businesses consider the benefits and drawbacks, as well as the impact on their relationships with Russian partners. If our business owners were initially concerned about the departure of Western firms, today they can be found moving into the empty factories and retail spaces. Regarding the use of domestic currencies in overseas transactions, today, more than 80% of settlements with China are in rubles and yuan, and about 90% of settlements with countries of the Eurasian Economic Union are in rubles. We are also working to expand trade in local currencies with other countries. Neighboring countries and members of the BRICS and Shanghai Cooperation Organization are given top priority. Concerning a currency amnesty for Russian companies, I propose to declare an amnesty for business for forced currency violations committed during the moratorium, and completely close this issue, so that later there is no reason to hold the business accountable, as they say, retroactively. Regarding the transfer of property back to Russian control, I urge the government to work with the private sector to quickly return assets in strategic industries back to Russian control. The deadline for this is this year's December. As for the West's decision to freeze Russian assets, here's what they have to say. There are obvious and often unacceptable risks not only for the state, but also for Russian business when money is made in Russia and then deposited in foreign accounts. As a result of their own experiences with having their Western bank accounts and assets frozen, many of our businessmen came to this conclusion. In regards to the conflict in Ukraine, soon, Ukraine will no longer rely on any of its own machinery at all. There are no remnants of it. Everything they use, including weapons, is imported from the outside. You won't last long in a fight like that. Discussion of the Jewish roots of Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. Many of my closest friends are Jews. Some people claim Zelensky is not Jewish and instead brings shame on all Jews.